Hi, very good morning to you. It's Jim from Avstar. We're looking at Suspicious Observers, Ben Davidson's Observer Ranch project, and just looking at what you get for £2,000 donation. And there's a good point to make here. This is what's going wrong in the world. You know, there are proper observatories like ours where there is a qualified scientist. In the recent weeks, you know, we've covered that topic, I think, now and set that to bed. With the fact that you have seen my academic transcript, my personal identifier for the university I worked at, and my awarded certificate in natural sciences, and you know what that qualification covers because we did that a few days ago in a video. But Ben Davidson doesn't have any qualifications whatsoever, and people like Brian Gunderson think that you don't need qualifications in specific subjects because what you can teach yourself is more important than what you will learn in any university that you are accredited an award or a certificate or a qualification in. Just think about what would happen in life if everybody took that mentality on board. How, you know, when you took your car to a service and there was a self-taught mechanic teaching, or just learning as he goes along, your, I don't know, £60,000 car, or your four-wheel drive. Imagine the amount of possibilities things could go wrong, not just in the mechanics world, but in the professional world, like dentistry, doctors, surgeons. Would you want just self-taught people? Because they would be pretty much operating on you with the same or even less qualifications than a butcher. Qualifications are important for the fact that they give you a basic foundation in the topic of which you talk about, which in some cases is a very in-depth, even though it's a foundation, it's an in-depth knowledge of that topic. Getting back to Ben Davidson, who has no qualifications in solar physics whatsoever, he feels qualified to put down those people at MIT, NASA, the European Space Agency and NOAA, as well as a lot of others over the years I've heard him rant about. But we're looking about what really is Ben Davidson all about, and it's about little projects like this, just like his mobile observatory where he raised over £20,000 on Kickstarter, but it was never clear what the people that supported him on that mobile observatory was getting back out. But this time it's very clear. When you donate £2,000 to the Observer Ranch, you will provide a picnic table for somebody, a grill or a fire pit, and in return you will be able to put your name on the bench or have a plaque, saying that you donated to it. And of course, look down there, it's tax deductible. And again, for £3,000 you get pretty much the same thing. Now, I watched a video of him 6 months ago talking about the magnetic pole reversal, in which he has no qualifications, and he certainly is not monitoring it with any equipment whatsoever. Yet people are donating thousands and thousands of pounds to him on the fact that of pretty much that they just like it talking about the subject, which is, I don't think that's any beneficial to anybody just to like somebody when they talk about a topic that they are not qualified to even talk about or know much about. What he's found out about the magnetic North Pole is from just what he's regurgitated on the internet, just like all the others. Brian Gunderson at the Magnetic Earth, whatever it is, his YouTube channel is, and of course we've got David Murillo, and we'll have a look at David Murillo and what his main purpose is, because it's pretty much the same model as what Suspicious Observers is, and that is earning money and gaining wealth. And as you can see here, these are donations, they're not anything solid in regards to what you will get to keep. You are just providing for other people. And of course, Ben Davidson will be making money out of this. How much do you think a fire pit costs? How much do you think a picnic table costs? And then how much do you think, once he has established these RV campsites and everything else, the facilities that he's going to rent out, how much do you think that will be in long-term revenue for him? Again, somebody with no qualifications, doesn't know particularly a lot about the subject, but feels, the audacity down those that have taken the time out to study about the subject of geomagnetics and solar physicists. He feels the need that and the stand in life that he is qualified to do that. The reason why I studied is because if anyone questioned me at a later date what my credentials were in the subject, I could say at least I have this qualification in science in the relative field of geomagnetics. And therefore they couldn't question it because it would be a professional qualification and I would be speaking as a professional. I have come under, over the years, a barrage of attacks from Ben Davidson, directly on videos and indirectly by his fly on the wall little private talks. He thinks I'm not aware of these, unfairly criticising my work in this field. And in the coming week I'm going to show you how close we are and how accurate we are to pinpointing the magnetic North Pole. And we're going to be talking about some of the other organisations, the professional organisations like the British Geological Survey, the European Space Agency, and their positioning of the magnetic North Pole, because there is a variation. But what I want to point out in the coming weeks is why there's a variation. Because they started off with 1.0, then it went to 2.0, and then it went to 2.20. And what they decided to do was go back for the last 5 years using all the data to recreate the position of the new magnetic North Pole for the 2023, at least I think, magnetic North Pole position on the updated World Magnetic Model. So I'm going to be sharing that with you over the coming weeks. But I want people not to be bamboozled by just somebody that is visually acceptable, because judging books by its cover has led to, as you probably have found out in life, a series of mistakes. You need to be on this topic, listening to people with the qualifications and who have credible data that they've collected. Now, whether you choose to use organisations or private observatories like ours is entirely up to you, where you get your data from. But it's never a good idea to get it from somebody who, like Brian Gunderson would describe as a self-taught person, because if there is no discipline in the learning, then of course that person is always going to believe that they are right when they've got nothing presenting them in any other way, because they're always going to think, well, this is my take on this, and they are going to enforce that take. It could be completely off the charts. Let's have a look at another person who is talking about the magnetic pole reversal frequently, and like Ben Davidson, doesn't have any qualifications, yet they do have shops like Ben Davidson. This is just one of his sides to his business. And of course, when I watched him 6 months ago, he built up the threat of what the magnetic poles will do when they reverse. And of course, some of the things he said, in fairness, are correct, but not all of them. But then he delivered an opportunity for people to donate and invest in his shops and his observer ranch. So there was obviously a point for him mentioning what could happen and how that could lead to a disaster and how you need to prepare, to the point where then at the end of the sales chat or deliver of his talk, he then gives you the opportunity to donate. So let's just have a look at one other person that is doing something in a similar fashion. This is somebody else who you're going to know or have heard of. I'm talking about Diamond, or David Murillo, over at the Open Hammer Ranch project. This is his shop on Amazon, and I'm going to show you some of the things he sells, and then I'll talk a little bit about it so you can see the sort of stuff that he's selling on his shop. When I had a conversation with David Murillo, he said to me, you want to get yourself a shop, Gene, because we earn $5,000 a month on our shop. So here is the standard thing of what they do. these people that are not qualified in the topics that they talk about, and who have never showed, if they claim to have been qualified in the topics, never showed their academic transcript or their awarded qualification certificate. Yet what they do is clear, and people don't see it at first, is they talk about, geomagnetic storms, CMEs, the magnetic pole reversal, because these are areas of topics where there is, a small interest from genuine people, and they talk about them, and then they deliver, the fact that these could be, major catastrophes, and that you need to prepare. And guess what? There's a solution. Come to our shop and you can buy all your stuff that you need. And of course people do it. Or donate to us and we can keep you informed. And of course people do it. But the bottom line is that they're not qualified, and there is a motive for them talking about these subjects as they do, and that motive is clearly to make a salary out of it. And in some cases, some of them are making a really good salary out of it. And Open Hammer Ranch isn't just the only one, and Ben Davidson isn't just another one of those people. You can judge these people on YouTube by how they sell things to you, and first of all how they deliver what they talk about in their daily updates on YouTube, and then how they direct you to part with your hard-earned money. And what are you getting back in return? Are you getting professional advice? Are you supporting, organisation, or a small observatory like ours that you're getting absolute data? We collect every 3 seconds the latest magnetic pole position with the TriMag. We've got muon detectors that are monitoring the radiation that is breaking apart in the upper atmosphere when cosmic rays come into contact with particles in our atmosphere, and as a result we get muons. We've got muon detectors, we've got magnetometers in a few different places around the world. Now we did have more, but through lack of funding those places have shrunk. But I see people like Ben Davidson and Open Hammer Ranch and a few others thriving because they've got shops, because they're selling things that you really don't need. And the reason why they're encouraging you, if you are about to purchase off them, is because they've given you a really good reason. They're saying without this, you're not prepared, and if you're not prepared, then your chances of success in a situation of crisis is weaker. But here's an opportunity for you to purchase off us some of the things we think you need. It's perfect, isn't it? It's a good little business. I could have done this, but I ain't in the business of trying to wax myself rich. I'm in the business of providing people with real-time information. And the difference between what we do at the Mavstar Observatory compared to what they do at Open Hammer Ranch and Suspicious Observers YouTube channels, as well as others, is clear. We collect data. We have a dedicated website to the magnetic poles and their movements on this planet, which is fed by the TriMag system, which collects data every 3 seconds. We have the largest gathered data on this magnetic reversal, and in more terms, more than some of the big organisations that you are familiar with, without a mention of names. But all these other YouTube channels that are talking about the magnetic North Pole migration have no equipment. They also have no qualifications, and for that reason there is no real reason for you to listen to them on the subjects of which they talk about, because all they're doing is promoting their business. It should be clear to you, especially now it's been pointed out to you, what the scam is. This is not just a dedicated website for the pole shift, but it is also covering some other anomalies that are taking place. You can look at the Schumann resonance, the amount of earthquakes happening around the world. You can check out whatever magnitude of earthquake you're interested in and search that. You can look at the current volcanoes that are in eruption right now, and a lot of other things that we cover on this channel, as well as the primary focus on the magnetic north poles. There isn't any shops. There isn't any observer ranches for you to invest in. All there is a non-mandatory link if you want to support what we do, and that's it. And that's really all there is to say. You either want to be a supporter of something that's real, or you want to buy things that you don't really need at this current point in time, or give your money away pointlessly on stuff which is not important. It's entirely up to you who you want to listen to. If you want to listen to people that regurgitate only what they can find on the internet, and if ever that information dried up, they'd have nothing to talk about, I guarantee you. Or you can listen to somebody that has, over the last 5 years, built extensive equipment to monitor these things that are taking place during this reversal and other subjects of importance, like CO2 in the current atmosphere right now and the effects that that has on our planet and its climate. So it's entirely up to you. The only thing for me to say is link down there in the description, and bid you a good day. Take care of your loved ones, as always. Bye for now.